footlock over a week ago, but here I am still looking at a blank page. Facebook notification? All right, I can spare a couple of minutes. Ooh, Snapchat. I wonder if anyone has added a story. Nice sunset, friends at Smoky Bones, picture of me saying, James, get out of school? Thanks, Caitlin Looney. For reference, this was because I still hadn't passed in my final chemistry assignment. To Instagram. Scroll up, a post from Cody Robson. Things that require zero talent. Being on time, work ethic, effort, body language, energy, attitude, passion, being coachable, doing extra, being prepared. Right. It's now 2:43 in the morning, still a blank page. Where to begin? I would like to acknowledge the many people that have contributed to the 13 years of our education. The educators, the administrators who saw us through till tonight, and our families. I'd particularly like to thank Google Search, Yahoo Answers, and most importantly, Google Translate. I truly could not have made it through high school without it. Now, what next? I could reflect on the past 13 years of our lives and talk about how cool it was to go to the school store in first grade and the races we had lining up for recess. I could bring up the time when my brother Matthew had a loose tooth in second grade and he wanted it out so badly he jokingly asked someone to punch him in the mouth. I was more than willing to volunteer. I could bring up the time when my leg was asleep in Miss Fighton's class in third grade, and when I went to get up, I fell flat on my face. I could bring us back to Mr. Mack's computer class or Miss Balloonus' music class, the time when I connected all the circuits in the fourth grade electricity unit and exploded all the batteries. Sorry, Miss Murray. The pride that we felt as fifth graders, the oldest kids in elementary school, or I could talk about our middle school years. The years of Hollister and Abercrombie, obsession of appearance in puberty. We can skip past that. Finally, high school. The next chapter in the prologue of our lives began with freshman year, when March Madness still existed and the search was on for the third floor as we could barely carry our freshman backpacks. Sophomore year flew by, and for those in Miss Aleka's class, I guess we'll never know what happens at the end of flatness. Next thing I know, we're juniors. No one can forget the battle we had with the sophomores and the full-out brawl that almost happened with Miss Roy over trash in the gym. To compare our junior year to a song, all we did was, in the words of Rihanna, work, 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 work. And the rest, well, we didn't understand. Senior year finally arrived, and we all quickly adjusted to the harsh reality of dismissals counting as tardies. For those of us who didn't get the memo, we could always count on getting called to the office and Mr. Cook, in the happiest way possible, giving us a warning, or Saturday, followed by, But we made it. We're here tonight, all of our credits fulfilled and ready to graduate. But what does that mean? I'd like to tell you a story. In a frantic gesture, a boy picked up the flip phone in his pocket and, in haste, dropped it on the ground. Bending over to pick it up, the shrill notes of its ringtone continued to shatter the crisp afternoon air of March 15, 2008. With a salty taste of tears in his mouth and the rain beginning to fall on his head, he ran to the road to find his brother, sister, and grandmother waiting in her car. As she sped down the street, he looked behind him to see his father standing in the middle of the road, tears of rage flowing down his face, his mother standing on the porch, too drunk to know what was actually going on. Upon the separation of his family, he was placed in the foster care system and deemed a ward of the state. He was fortunate enough to be placed into the custody of his grandmother, and at the age of 10 was forced to start a new life in a new house. Going through middle school, he had to contend with the pressures of guardianship hearings, social workers, family courts, and the anguish of living in a family ripped apart by alcoholism and domestic violence. The fear of not knowing if he's split apart from his siblings made him mature, and he became independent. Despite the hardships he endured throughout his early childhood, the paperwork went through and the date was set for him to begin a new life living with his mother. However, on December 26, 2011, his mother suffered a heart attack and died on December 27th. I am the boy in this story. The loss of my mother dealt me another blow, but again stimulated my desire to achieve. I challenged myself academically, socially, but most of all psychologically to overcome what had happened and to look forward to the future. In my sophomore year of high school, my grandmother's health declined rapidly. The woman who had rescued me that one day from my childhood home passed away in April of 2014. Nothing could prepare me to lose her, but with determination, maturity, and focus, I moved forward. I share this story, my story, to bring up an important idea. Class of 2016, we all have something to learn from each other, and I can honestly say that each one of you here have taught me something. We all have our own story, our own experiences in high school that we will forever look back on. For us, everyone's story is different. This prologue to life can be told 126 different ways. I share my story to tell you that your circumstances should never define you, how you act, or what type of person you are. It's what you do with your life and the effort you put into it that lead you to success. I'm not going to stand here and tell everyone that you're all going to be successful and that you have nothing but good things for you in the future. Everyone here has and will again experience failure. But whether or not you choose to let your past define you will result in whether or not you are successful. I use the word successful in a broad sense. Being successful means something different to every person. I only hope that in the story of your life, you find success in whatever it means to you. High school has only been preparing us for our future, for the vast world outside our little corner of the sky. You will always remember where it started, where the scene of your story began. But just remember, as we look forward to the future, remember your past, where your story began. What will your next chapter look like? It's up to you. Best of luck, class of 26.